Cool. Alright, I'm just getting things set up. You have to check me out for a bit. Alright. Cool. Over here. Cool. Make sure the sound is working, because, you know, that's always good to know. Cool. We're on. Squeaky chair. Alright. Real headphones activated. Dota 2 loading. Still loading. Okay, and make sure that's the right game. Cool. That would be embarrassing to have the wrong game. Okay, cool. Got everything ready to go. Just 1 second. Alright. Coolio. Okay. Alrighty. And we're live in 5, 4, 3. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rooplee, and welcome to another episode of RoopleeTV. It is Sunday, April 13th, 2014. And this is RoopleeTV episode number 8. Hey everybody, I'm Rooplee. I'm here to give you some Dota 2 casting analysis so that you guys can be better Dota players. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about the mid lane, and in particular we're going to be talking about mid lane roles that kind of dominate through the entire game. Certain heroes are a lot. They don't really, they keep level with the rest of with everybody else throughout the entire game. They're heroes that you can play the entire way through and be useful from really early levels to really late levels, depending on how well or how poorly the game goes. Depends on how much you need to farm with that hero. So we've got certain heroes like, say, Invoker or Templar Assassin or Tinker or Viper is another one. Just all sorts of heroes that pretty much really early on to really late in the game, they have a high impact throughout the entire game. Another hero that's like that is Razor. Just pretty much these mid heroes that can be played mid, but they're not specifically going to just dominate starting at level 4 or level 6. More so, they're going to be really good throughout the entire game. And then once they get farm, then they're just going to excel. So they do need farm, yes, but they can be good throughout the entire game. So we're going to go into 2 different games today. So it might be a little rushed. There might be some downtime, and I'm going to skip through some certain parts of the matches that aren't as important. For example, when they're farming or something like that. But I want to talk about 2 players and 2 heroes in particular, which I actually named them off in the list of heroes. I want to talk about a Tinker game and a Templar Assassin game. First, here is a Tinker game featuring Fnatic's Hani. So we're going to just hop right into this game and check out what's going on. Tinker is a hero that can constantly put pressure on the map, and he's pretty much everywhere at all times. The way I like to think of the hero, based on his skill set, is imagine if Puck and Nature's Prophet were melded into one hero, if they like had a baby or something like that. That's what I'm talking about. That's kind of what Tinker does. He teleports anywhere on the map at any points in time, but he has the control and nuking potential of a Puck. He doesn't push down towers per se easily, but he can push lanes like Nature's Prophet and teleport everywhere. But he has crazy amounts of nuking potential, and you can get really punished. Your supports, the later the game it goes, the more likely Tinker is able to just pick off your supports, and it really cuts down on your map control just from having a Tinker in the game. So let's go ahead and get this started. Boom. Okay, and FYI, this game is from the Dota 2 Champions League. So, yeah, it's from the Dota 2 Champions League, casted by Yeezy. If you want to watch it, go for it. But I'm just going to skip through the picks. They're not terribly important. I mean, there's nothing really to look at here. It's just one thing to note in particular is that Nature's Prophet does not do well against a Tinker, because Tinker can teleport around even faster than Nature's Prophet. So that is one reason why Fnatic was able to pick up the Tinker here, as well as just secure more late game dominance, because right now they don't have anything outside of a Weaver. So it kind of lends itself towards a dual core role, which is what Fnatic was looking for in this. But in general, I just want to talk about how the Tinker controls the game from early to late game, and just go through everything from there. So here we see Hani at level 1. He got a Null Talisman, pooled 1 Tango, and also has a full stack of Tangos. So the Null Talisman will help him get last hits early on. He'll have 61 base damage against a Nature's Prophet, which is actually a very difficult lane for Tinker, and I'll explain why later. But Nature's Prophet does have slightly more base damage because he got 3 branches and a Null Talisman. So he has just that extra base damage based off of that. But the hardest thing about this is right here. If we go back just a little bit, at the very beginning, Hani uses his laser on Nature's Prophet. So he goes and he uses his laser, and usually as a Tinker you want to get your laser at level 1 because it blinds the target for 3 seconds, which means they won't get any last hits, and you can do it to really bump up your CS above the other player. So he uses his laser, but Nature's Prophet has Treants at level 1, which each have 22 damage, so he can still get last hits like this, and it's really a crux for Tinker. The awesome attack animation from Nature's Prophet on top of having Treants to help him last hit makes it really hard. And another thing that you can actually see Koikva's doing consistently here, back up again, is that so the creeps right here, they were up here on the high ground. So he had his creeps all the way up there, and he ends up just pulling them back to just nice safe spots. So he pulls it back to the middle, and then he pulls it back all the way down here. So yeah. Alright, so he had it pulled all the way from up here to all the way right here, and that just secures his farm. One advantage is he's delaying the experience of the Tinker by doing these pulls, because none of these creeps have died yet. Nothing has died from the Radiant side, and an entire creep wave has died from the Dire side. So right now, Hani has 0 experience, and Koikva's at level 2, so he has even more base damage to play with. Granted, the lane will push after that, but still, it's not bad for him. Not bad at all. Hold on a second, I gotta check to see if I have in-game sound routed to me. I can't really tell. Okay. Sweet. Okay, let's do this. Alright. So, I do have in-game sound. Excellent. So right now, Hani has little experience, but he's going to catch up real quick. And Koikva is doing a good job of just getting more last hits than the Tinker. Hani's Tinker is 1 for 1, and Koikva is at 6 for 1 because he was able to spread it out and not last hit underneath the tower. Also, the Treants let you deny range creeps. So, usually, at the beginning of the game, range creeps take 3 tower hits to kill. And at low levels, before 70 or 80 base damage, you have to hit the creep before the 3rd hit and then hit it again in order to get the last hit. But because he has 2 Treants that have 22 damage each, he can wait till the 2nd hit and then just take it from there. So that's a nice little advantage. Yeah, basically, Nature's Prophet is a really, really good laner. So, and the only reason why you don't see that abused in pubs a lot is because generally in pubs, if a hero can jungle, they tend to jungle more often than not because people like the jungle. But in real games, like in professional games, the Treants really help with last hits. So another thing I want to point out here is that Hani was going for some extra right-click damage, but Koikva did a really good job of blocking his only exit. So Hani has to run all the way around here, and he has to just go back to farming with 2 Treants on him. He is going for a bottle rush. Nature's Prophet, probably not as much. He could go for it, but usually Nature's Prophet will go for a Midas rush, especially in this situation, just to get the Midas that much earlier. Yeah. The laser, it's always good to have the laser. One interesting thing to note is that, generally speaking, let's talk a little bit about skill builds for Tinker. Generally speaking, Tinkers will go 1 laser, 1 missile, max out March of the Machines, and then get rearm when they hit certain breakpoints. You don't want to get rearm at just 6, 11, and 16. So you don't want to do that because Tinker has very limited restrictions. If we go back into the game, actually, we can see the mana cost goes up quite a bit between levels. So at level 1, it's 150, then goes up to 250 and 350, and it just takes 1 second less to cast each time. So you generally want to get your first level in rearm when you're getting your Boots of Travel, as just a guideline, and then just go and level up the other ones as needed. But March of the Machines is a very farm-oriented build. You max out March first, you get 1 point in the other 2 just for some harass damage. A laser missile, heat-seeking missile build is what used to be the most popular, but as of late in professional games, you haven't been seeing that as much because of just the farm orientation, but we haven't been seeing Tinker really much at all, so I personally don't know what to expect. A laser missile build does give you a lot of kill potential, and the reason why Hani picked this is twofold. First off, he has a Chen on the team, and Chen loves to gank. Chen actually smoked up here and picked up an Invis Rune. So Chen loves to gank, and Nature's Prophet has no early game escape. I mean, he has a teleport that takes 3 seconds to cast, but other than that, you know, he would much rather do the 160 pure damage from the laser and then the 175 from the heat-seeking missile. To drop a good 300 damage on an enemy hero is just fantastic. And if we look, Nature's Prophet only has 400 hit points right now, so he can almost kill him immediately. Yeah, so we'll see how Hani ends up building this game, but right now he's building that just because Nature's Prophet's weakness is just this right here. If he gets disabled, ganked, he'll just die. So, and he died. There's first blood. So, a really good start for Hani. He's able to just get that. This will give him his bottle, and then right after this, the general item build. Whoops, going back. The general item build for Tinker is Boots of Travel, or Bottle, Boots of Travel, Soul Ring, and then Blink Dagger. Koikva teleports right back in, tries to get the kill, but Hani's Bottle comes, and also he just is unable to get the kill because of the tangos. So Hani will be keeping his tangos for the rest of the laning phase, just in case he gets trapped in by trees to be able to get out of that. But now he's going to have a hard time last hitting because of the better animation from Nature's Prophet, as well as having more treants. he'll have level 5 soon, and then he'll have 5 treants. So, or 4 treants, sorry. And then once he has the 4 treants, he'll be able to last hit even better. See, he can last hit under a tower pretty much no problem because of the 2 treants right now. And right now, there was a gank, Ancient Apparition, Venge, and Nature's Prophet. But because Hani's still keeping these tangles around, he's able to get out of there just very easily. Yeah, basically when you're playing against Nature's Prophet, it's always nice to have tangos or a Quelling Blade around if you don't have any real escape mechanism. Which is Tinker's big weakness, is he is very weak until he gets his Boots of Travel. Like, he is not terribly strong in the lane. He's kind of like a Storm Spirit that needs Boots of Travel in order to be really strong, but he has other strengths than Storm Spirit as well, so it's not like it's clear cut to always pick Storm Spirit over Tinker, otherwise they'd have Storm Spirit. But anyway, Hani keeps going, and he's just trying to get enough last hits for his Boots of Travel. You'll see Hani do a lot of things just to try and inch out every bit of farm that he can, even more so than normal, just to get the Boots of Travel, because Tinker is only really effective once he gets the boots. Yeah. Another thing that Koikva can do is he can actually zone out with these treants. If you look, Hani took quite a bit of damage, and even with tree armor, he's still missing health. They're going to go in and try to get another kill on Nature's Prophet. Not really get it, but at the same time, there's a smoke gank from behind. So Ancient Apparition and Venge, in order to stop the Tinker, because they know that Tinker with Boots of Travel is really scary. If you shut him down before Boots of Travel, then he's not scary at all. So they go in, they find No Tail, and they're able to take down No Tail without much problem at all. But the amount of burst damage that Hani has just from the laser and the missile is able to net the Ancient Apparition kill. The laser, watch this laser on way 2. Down to 27 hit points. Like, he just lost almost half of his hit points just from that one laser. And then No Tail's able to clean up with the Centaur. So, double kill going for No Tail, 2 assists for Hani. So he's sitting good. He's level 7, 5.5 minutes in. Really, really, really good on the level front. And he's just trying to get up to... He's just trying to get up to his Boots of Travel. But as you can see, he got 3 laser, 3 missile, and he didn't get his ult until level 7. So he's feeling like he's going to get his Boots of Travel fairly soon, or he could. And that's usually the breaking point for the first level. The second level breaking point is when you get a big mana, when you get a mana item past your Soul Ring. So you get the bottle, you get the Soul Ring, and then you get something else, and then you get level 2. And level 3 is when you get like a big item like a sheep or something to be able to maintain like 4 casts of your ultimate without going back to town. So we're going to check this out, see what do we have going next. Not really much. I'm going to speed it up a bit because we do have 2 games to go through, so I don't want to run too late, but Hani is just farming up, trying to get last hits against the Nature's Prophet. It's pretty much more of the same, trying to keep the creep equilibrium. He's going to try and push out the lane a little bit for the 8-minute rune. Even though he hasn't been getting runes, he's just been using the courier to bottle Crow, which is just to get the bottle to go back and forth and refill at the fountain for him. So he refills his bottle just back and forth. That way he doesn't miss anything in the lane. There is a haste rune up top, but Koikva is going to deny that with his trance. So neither one wants to leave the lane because the experience in gold is just too important for them. As you can see, Tinker is 300 gold away from his Boots of Travel. Once he gets his Boots of Travel, action will definitely pick up. He'll be able to just go anywhere on the map at any point in time, pretty much. So Hani's 100 gold away. He's going to just go and just try to get this last bit of gold. Just one more last hit, pretty much. And then he gets it. So he has exactly 2,000 gold, and he's just right on top of getting his Boots of Travel. At the same time, Nature's Prophet does get a Hand of Midas, so they do have pretty equivalent farm. Yeah, like I said, you can watch this replay At your leisure, however you want. I just want to focus on Hani himself. So other things do happen in the game, but we're not too concerned with that. What we are concerned with is the fact that immediately after getting his boots of travel, he tries to shut down Liquid TC he tries to shut TC down from just getting away with a tower dive. He was able to kill Treant Protector and then TP out. But this kind of map presence is really powerful now. And he's just, even though he does have the boots of travel, he chooses not to rearm and go back to base since he can get some experience here. And then he'll actually be able to go up into the jungle and get some more experience once this wave gets pushed out. So, Way Too Sexy is just getting up to level 6. He's almost 6, so they're giving him some mid farm, some mid experience. But Hani is just going to be able to go up, check the 10-minute rune. It's not up top. It is, in fact, bottom and Darkseer Bottle of Regen. So, this was stacked for him, thanks to Fly. Or, I'm not actually sure who did that, but the Ancient Apparition Ult actually helps him out there. Gets some extra last hits, but Hani's going to farm this up, use his mana, teleport back, and then action is going to go. By action, I mean he can go and he can do like whatever he wants. Generally, he's going to be farming because Tinker is really fast at farming, so he's just going to be able to farm really fast now. I have the game sped up just to show you how fast he can farm. So what he does here is really nice. If we look at this state of the game right now, Hani is up here. He just cast Master of the Machines against a Darkseer. Bulba has been just going at it, you know, pretty much free farm. 56 CS, 11 minutes is not too bad. And what this does is he knows that Liquid wants to take this top 1 tower on the safe lane because it will give them a lot of map control and nobody's up here. So Hani, what he's going to do is he's going to just delay this as much as possible so that either this push goes or this push completely fails and gets counter pushed. He's giving Liquid the choice of either defending this tower or to try and push this tower and may or may not fail. So this is one thing that Hani does really nice here, is that by teleporting up here, there's no chance for them to trade towers just evenly. Either Liquid tries to defend the bottom tower or they try to push up here. And as you can see, because of the low mana pool, Hani already has to go back and forth a lot. He does pick up the Soul Ring next. Because you can rearm Soul Ring, it's amazingly good on Tinker. And as you can see, they were able to push down the bottom tower. Unfortunately for Hani, he does get caught out here because he does step out, and Way Too was able to get level 6 in that mid lane, as well as Demon standing in for Liquid. Red Bull Demon, go Red Bull. He was able to get the Ancient Apparition ult, so they were able to gank him from it, but it did create a lot of pressure for Team Liquid because they can't take this tower and they have an extra tower. So the safe lane tier 1 is the most important tier 1 in general circumstances because it cuts down their carry from being able to farm safely. The middle tower is really good if you want to Roche. I can never keep track of Tinker because he's always everywhere. So what Tinker does here is he just goes in to try and get that kill on Darkseer and create some space as usual. You know, just wants to be able to keep this push going alive, force him to either get the tier 2 or back up, and the tier 2 is going to be denied here. Tinker does get sent back to town from Chen, so No Tail does send him back. But he's going to go up. Oh, that's Koikfa going up there. Hani's probably just going to go back. So Hani is going to go to the stack that was fortunate enough to be stacked for him. And he's just going to farm this for the next minute. So he farms this, gets a triple stack of Ancients, which is really huge. Picks up this. I mean, actually, I want to go back just to the previous time to see how much gold it's worth. So he has 1890 right now. Oh, sorry, he does not have that. He has 1,000 gold. So he has 1,000 gold, and then in this minute, just because of the triple stack, he's able to gain so much. So let's see. 1 minute later, he has 2,400 gold. So he was able to get 1,500 gold from that ancient stack, which is just phenomenal. So that just completely fuels his next item, which is, like I said, usually the Blink Dagger, because Blink Dagger is really, really good on Tinker. Once you get Blink Dagger, you can safely push in areas that no other hero can push into. And you can also do things like this. You can just go in and... In general, Hani does not TP onto the tower that's being attacked, and you really shouldn't either unless you have a huge advantage. But Hani's able to go up here, fire off some missiles to try and deter them from coming and taking this tower. Forces them both to TP, but he's up here in the woods and he is in no trouble whatsoever. So he's able to just chill right here. Where? Okay. So yeah, he's pretty much everywhere on the map that needs to be. And then when he's not, he farms these two camps at the same time, which is really cool. Something about professional levels and their farming efficiency is that they know tricks like that to be able to take down multiple camps and just to farm faster in general. Like little things here and there. Like Hani knew where to stand in order to get both those camps at the same time. So Hani, here, let's go back into the game. Hani was actually able. We can scroll back just a little bit as well. So Hani just stood right here and cast March of the Machines, and that hits this camp right here as well as this camp right here. And he's able to farm a medium camp and a large camp at the same time. A lot of other heroes can do this. If you really want to watch a player that's really good at this, Merlini is amazing in the jungle. He's probably one of the best jungling players that's not on a jungle hero. Like, to clear out a jungle quickly, Merlini knows it better than most other players, professional or non-professional, that I know. And in case you didn't know, Merlini used to be a professional player back in the day, and now he's just casting and commentating. So he has really good insight, and his stream is awesome as well. Shout out to Merlini. You the man. So, anyway, shameless plug of Merlini, but what he'll do is, like, on Windrunner, he'll stand right here, and he'll do a power shot, and the power shot will hit this creep camp right there, too. He'll stand right here, and then he can farm these two camps at the same time by pulling this one down and then using whatever range spell they have to hit that camp as well as that camp. Also, you can do things like pulling Batrider to get 3 camps. There are a lot of jungle tricks to basically pull the creep camps together to farm more than one camp at the same time, and this is just another one of them. Hani knows where to stand on the dire side as Tinker to be able to hit this creep camp and this creep camp at the same time. So that's actually one of the little things that makes a huge difference at this kind of level of play. But I mean, it's just something that you can take advantage in your own games when you're playing. If you do play Tinker a lot, you should know that kind of spacing, because it can be really valuable in times like that. But this, I'm talking about Hani's presence. He's always available on the map. So he was able to TP down to his creeps down here when they were up here, and then just blink up, immediately cast rockets to try and save his Trixie, but Trixie died. Either way, he's still able to teleport in, get the kill on Bulba, and he does a really smart thing right here. So he has pretty much full health, and he just teleports out. He could have rearmed, and he could have gone and tried to get Koikfa, but it was way better for him to just not die. A death usually sets you back about 2 to 3 minutes, so you really don't want to die, just like at all. And he figures there's no reason to risk it. He's able to safely counter push against 2 heroes right here. So TC and Way Too Sexy cannot push that at all, because March of the Machines is brutal. By the time they get up to the tower, Way Too Sexy will be halfway dead. I'm not kidding. And then he'll have to die pretty much walking out. And since Hani's sitting right here, if somebody does do that, he can blink and he can use laser rocket. Notice also Hani has not skilled level 2 rearm yet. He did want 4 points in March of the Machines to get better farming, so that's probably the main reason behind that. His next level, I'm sure, will be in rearm, but he's level 13 and only has 1 point in his ultimate, so just like I said, one thing to look at. He's just jumping around lane to lane, getting farm. He's not really doing much hero presence right now, but he is getting a lot of presence in the safety department. So he's able to keep it safe for everybody. He's just scouting around. He's able to push these lanes out while his team does Roche. Since Hani can't do much in the pit itself, what he can do is keep all the towers safe, keep all the lanes safe, and keep Liquid guessing as to whether or not they're actually doing Roche. And Roche goes down, so there you go. He's able to just basically keep everything up. Now we can see that Tinker did get level 14. He did get a Staff of Wizardry, so he did get Rearm level 2. But the Staff of Wizardry, the Null Talisman, he's taking really good use of this and turning it into a Dagon. Tinker is one of the few heroes that I would recommend getting a Dagon with a lot of the times, because Dagon has no cast point. It doesn't take any extra time to cast if you just click the item, click the player. It's as fast as you can do it as a person. So you're able to do that and fire rockets at the same time and just do crazy damage to people. So they were not able to save this tower, but Hani's just going to save up for the Dagon. And this is a very aggressive stance. So like I was talking about earlier, there are two different ways to play Tinker. You can play Tinker to farm and split push the entire time, or you can play him to dominate the enemy heroes. Well, the main problem with dominating the enemy heroes is that there's always this contention of my farm versus the enemy's farm. So the enemy, and I'm not talking about the enemy carries in this situation, I'm talking about the enemy supports. If the enemy supports can get enough health to stay alive against a nuking Tinker, then he is essentially worthless to the team. If he cannot nuke down the heroes immediately, then he's not really going to be able to do much. But if he can consistently, then he will just go on this crazy snowball effect and do a massive, massive help for the team and crush the enemy one hero at a time. So Hani has to be able to keep up that pressure, so he has to get the Dagon Laser Rocket if he wants to go that way, and then just blast somebody down. Because if we go back into the game, we can see that right now Vengeful Spirit has 900 hit points and a Naked Magic Wand. That's all that Way Too Sexy has. 900 hit points. Ancient Apparition, 1100 hit points because he's going for the Scepter, but he's still really squishy. And you know, one combo will pretty much kill him. Nature's Prophet has 1000 hit points, but he does have a Shadow Blade. So those are three heroes that are all really, really squishy and weak. Darkseer has a mechanism and he has a surge, so he's not really going to be easy to kill either. So Hani's just that's what he's going to do. He's just going to focus on farming for now, and then these ancient stacks are huge for him. So he'll teleport down. This was a really good teleport by Hani, really good insight. So this lane was getting pushed, he's able to put a march there and then blink to stack this again. And he can come back and he can actually get this camp whenever he wants. Since there's no one else to farm the Ancients on either team, like who can farm them efficiently, he's able to just safely keep his triple stack or whatever stack he wants right there, and then farm it at his leisure. Get his 1500 gold whenever he wants, which, I mean, you know, it's obvious that he wants it, but I'm going to speed it up just for the next 30 seconds or so. Show you that he's going to farm up right here, and then this will give him the money for that Dagon that I was talking about earlier. And then he has the Dagon, so now is the time that Hani's going to start going crazy. If we look right now, he only has 2 kills, 1 death, 3 assists. So he's only been part of like half of the kills for Fnatic, less than half. And now he's just going to be everywhere. His goal is he wants to kill heroes now, since he can pretty much one-shot heroes. So he goes, he rockets from behind. Way2 actually gets a mech charge, but then the laser rocket Dagon is just enough to clear him out. On top of flies Leech Seed, which does a good amount of damage, but if we look, Hani's actually able to chase this farther. Not able to get a kill because Bulba was smart and blinked over here. Yeah, so actually, that brings me to a point. I actually played against Bulba on Darkseer before, and he went a similar build to this, but he went Shadow Blade. So that was a fun game. It was kind of hard, as it should be, but Bulba knows what he's doing on the Darkseer. Actually, yeah, he does know. Sorry, I was thinking about something else. But just check this out. So he's able to jump in, laser Dagon Rocket, and Quakefoot is one hit from death. He gets that last hit, dead. Like, even with an Orchid on Nature's Prophet. So Nature's Prophet, Science 1, Nature's Prophet, nothing. So Hani is able to actually get that kill, even with an Orchid on Nature's Prophet, which is remarkable because he fired the rocket, blinked in, and cast his 2 spells before anything even happened. And then he's just able to keep it going. So now, let's just speed it up some more. See, he's just able to safely farm these lanes. If you look, he doesn't waste a second. So he teleports up here just to stack, and then he's going to be able to farm that stack whenever. See, he comes back, and then he's just going to be able to farm the stack up. And then after the stack gets farmed, he'll have enough for, you know, whatever. He did buy a Ghost Scepter, so he will be going for the route. Since there's nothing really to be afraid of with just a Ghost Scepter, he will probably be going the route of the F-Blade, just to keep up on that. And Ancient Apparition instantly dies. That Dagon is just too powerful for him. And Hani has 2,000 gold, so he's getting close to his F-Blade if he wants it. Like I said, he probably will, since there's no reason to really get a Ghost Scepter against this team. They don't have that much right-click damage outside of, like, Nature's Prophet. But, yeah, they don't really have much right-click. A terribly large much. They have Nature's Prophet and Doom. So, yeah, if we look, he's just farming and farming and farming. We're actually going to just go ahead and speed it up. He doesn't really do too much that's interesting. As you can see, the life of Tinker is very, very, very odd. So he pops his Ghost Scepter just to remind everybody he has it, I guess. And his goal right now is to get that 3,300 gold for the Eagle Song. And then once he gets that, he'll be able to drop an extra 40% magic damage on whoever he hits. So it pretty much makes his efficiency go through the roof. It's only a single stack this time, so nothing terribly good. But, you know, farmers farm, and that'll bring him even closer. He's purposely avoiding anything big just to try and get this Eagle Song. And now he has enough, and now we'll see he'll go pick it up as soon as he can. Just as soon as possible, he's just going to go. So he farms here just a little bit more. He could pull this camp, but Nature's Prophet did the camp, so he's not going to be able to. And then he goes and picks up his F-Blade. So now, once again, he's ready to go. He was able to get a few kills with that Dagon, but now he has the F-Blade, and he's just going to go crazy on people. He's looking for opportunities when they come up. He's not going to force anything, but as soon as he knows that his team's in trouble down here, he's like, okay, cool, I can do this, and I can possibly just blink in and get a kill. But it is, yeah, so it is extra damage. It is another 150 mana. Just look at Doom's health go down. So Doom, if we look at this right here, Doom is at full hit points, 1,700 hit points. And he runs in. This is just how scary the Tinker is right now. These spells right now brought him down to 600 hit points after the mechanism. You know, he just keeps on ticking down because of the poison, but he almost dies immediately as a Doombringer. So the amount of nuke potential that Fanatics, the team, has is just crazy. And Hani, because he has a hero like Tinker, is able to just be a very high impact and take out, you know, he's able to keep these lanes pressured, but at the same time he's able to engage and just crush people when he does engage. So here Hani's still just farming. Nothing terribly exciting. There's actually, yeah, we're going to go ahead and speed this up quite a bit because he's just going to farm here and then it's going to pause. Hooray! Everybody loves pauses. Yeah! No, we're going to go back into the game, but yep. there's a pause. It happens, even at the professional level. Surprise, surprise. So let's just go, speed up through it. It's some nice friendly banter between them because, you know, Demon did play with Fnatic recently, and they got second place. Demon was able to do some crazy good stuff for Fnatic. I forget exactly which tournament that was, but anyway. So Koikva's up here. Interesting thing is, Nature's Prophet's strength is split pushing. Because Tinker is on Fnatic, it forced him to get an Orchid in order to be able to split push effectively. But on top of that, Hani is still able to just jump on Nature's Prophet at any point in time and then just take him out. Oh, hey, forgot my face. Let's go back into the game. I'll go back and let you guys see exactly what was up. So, we've got Boba and Koikva right here. Koikva's advantage on Nature's Prophet is to be able to split push, like I said before, but Hani's able to just shut him down. Like, the thing is, Nature's Prophet's really good if he can't get shut down from split pushing. If somebody can keep up with his rotations, Nature's Prophet is pretty worthless late game, and that's just really smart on Fnatic to be able to, you know, recognize that and take advantage of that. And then right here, this is a dangerous team fight for Hani, so he just sits back, fires some missiles. When the time comes right, he's just going to jump in and try and get kills. The Roshan is getting damaged, but it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, so Hani is just going to stop Koikva again, like I was talking about before. Koikva almost died because of the combo, but he did not. Just a laser rocket Dagon F-Blade combo. Almost killed him, but it completely shuts down all of Koikva's pushing potential. Koikva's just able to fight. But because of that team fight, Fnatic was able to secure their Roshan and also stop Nature's Prophet from pushing towers because of that. Because of Hani and his ability to just march of the machines all over whatever push Nature's Prophet has going, as well as potentially kill Nature's Prophet, there's really not much that Koikva can do. I mean, I'm beating the dead horse, but Boba's up here too, trying to get the push going, and Tinker is really good at stalling and buying time for the team. Even if you're behind, which at this point they may or may not be behind. I will look at the gold charts. So yeah, they are behind by like 5,000 gold and experience, but you would not guess it based off of Hani's playing. Because Hani, well, first off, he's really farmed right now, just by nature of being everywhere on the map at the same time. But Weaver doesn't have terribly much. He has a Lincoln's at 33 minutes and not really much else, and he's going for the Desolator, but doesn't quite have it. So what Hani's goal is he's going to just hold off, keep all of his towers alive, being able to do things like that. Really powerful, obviously, but his goal is to keep the towers alive while Era gets farm, and then Era will be able to sweep in and, you know, Superman for the kills. But right now they know that Hani is a big threat, so they just cast everything on him, Orchid and Doom. He is able to stay alive just from Chen's heal and send back on top of Fly's armor. So Fly's armor is able to block the instances of damage for Doom. 6 of them, which is really nice. Oh, 7, sorry. It's able to block all 7 instances of damage, 7 ticks of damage, and was just enough to keep Tinker alive. But the advantage is now, as far as Fnatic is concerned, is if they don't kill the Tinker, Tinker can still come back into the fight at any point in time. And as you can see, this frees up space for Fnatic to push bottom, while Hani is just able to maintain the status quo everywhere else and just make sure that nothing else goes down. Fnatic is able to even farm the enemy jungle. I think I've pretty much talked about this enough. Let's go ahead and just speed it up. There's nothing too terribly exciting going on here. Hani's just doing, well, he's getting kills, but yeah, he's able to just blast people up. We're going to just skip up and go to where the action starts going. Around 40 minutes is when it's just going to be huge. One thing here, a little nice cheeky play that Fnatic does is that No Tail is going to cast his chance. He's going to cast Send Back on Hani, and then Hani's just going to go and do whatever he wants when he comes back in. See if we watch this. He casts the Send Back so that Hani can go in and then just blast, try to get Demon dead. It actually ends up using Wave 2's ult in order to try and save him. But Dagon 4 with the F-Blade is enough to force that kind of defense. And then Hani's just able to, from that, just farm. Nature Prophet actually, along with Ancient Apparition, was able to shut him down because of the Hex on top of the Silence. So Koikful has been forced to go a very battle-oriented build. He has the Scythe, he has the BKB, he has the Orchid. So he's going to be joining team fights and then just trying to push a lane as needed. He has a Shadow Blade to kind of help him, but he can't go for the hardcore split push. He can't go for the Necrobook. He can't go for the Desolator. All of that stuff. He has to go for the Sheep and the Orchid just to keep Tinker down. But yeah, we can actually see that Tinker's going to come in here and just cause crazy amounts of damage. Boom! Like, right there. So, I want to show this just a little bit because it's really cool. Tinker comes in. Doom has his full 2,000 hit points. He just gets nuked. And then zap, zap. YT tries to save Doom, but Hani has a blink. And he's able to nuke down Doom. That's how farmed he is right now. And then it ends up killing both of them off. Yeah, so Hani's super duper farmed right now. He's gonna probably pick up his Dagon 5 here, I imagine. Nope, he does not. So he's actually going and he found some more farm, so he's gonna farm more. But this is just giving you an idea of like how Hani is able to just go and take control of the game very handily. Like he has never been slowed down the entire game. He's been effective for the whole game too. There are points in which he had to farm, like particularly up until the 8-minute mark to get the Boots of Travel, and then whenever he's looking for more kills, or looking to be able to out-nuke his enemy. Which, like I said, he's always in that battle to try and do it. He's going to pick up the Dagon 5 soon, and then he'll be able to nuke. I think it's a crazy amount because this is 2 times your primary attribute, so it's 210 plus 75, 280 damage, and then yeah, basically half of Doom's health. But he comes back in and just instantly pops Vengeful Spirit. So if we look, Vengeful Spirit got hit by a rocket, so has 800 hit points. And then he's going to just come back in. Just watch this. He gets back up to 1,000 hit points, 1,500. Just dead. Just dead. Hani does end up, taking a lot of damage from this and dying because there was a lot coming his way. Doom will pretty much always be cast on Hani whenever possible. But this brings me to another point, is that when to buy back. So oftentimes when you die, you have the choice. It's like, should I buy back now or should I not buy back now? But we're going to go back into the game in just a second, and I want to say that in general, you should buy back when you need to save your racks, or you can get 1 or 2 kills. Just buying back for the sake of being back in the game is not worth it anymore ever since they changed the gold. So you do not gain any unreliable gold when you buy back. So you don't gain gold from creeps or ancients or anything like that. You do get them from towers and hero kills, and I think the courier kill as well. But that's the only real way to get reliable gold. And Hand of Midas. Hand of Midas is reliable gold, which is a really important thing about Hand of Midas. But that's another story. In general, you should buy back when you can get a kill or save your racks, or take down the enemy and just wipe them out completely. Don't always feel like you need to buy back whenever you die, because sometimes it's just not worth it. So Hani does buy back in the situation, and we can see what actually happens. What happens because of his buyback. So his buyback was able to just take down the Doom and drop the gem. And then Koikva is also going to die too because of it. So 2 kills, a definite win for Hani. Not able to chase down Bulba, but the gem of True Sight did get taken down. So that's really nice for Weaver. It means Weaver can safely go around the map a lot better and just not get picked off. Because what can happen is, since all Weaver has to protect himself is the Lincolns, if Doom comes up to him, all he has to do is level death and then Doom, and then Weaver is pretty much dead. Because the level death will take off the Lincolns, and then the Doom will just kill him. So, let's see. Tinker, go, go, boom! So, oh, yeah. Gotta show this, because this is crazy. Just because of the amount of farm that Hani has as Tinker. He's able to TP from up here. He even has half mana when he starts this. He TP's in, his Rocket's on cooldown, his Marcher's on cooldown, everything's on cooldown. No, that's just for me rewinding. So, he comes in, he just blasts, he's able to kill, avenge, and then on his rearm, he's able to just blast Bulba's Darkseer down. And then one more jump and a Dagon for 750. So the Dagon, as you level it up, costs less mana and gets smaller cooldown as well as more damage. So 100 mana is really, really nice for 800 damage on Tinker. It's a very expensive item. I think it's like 7,000 or 8,000 gold total. But that coupled with the F-Blade is really powerful. It actually does 1,000 damage immediately. You can see, just even on Doom, who has... It's just amazing how much damage he takes. Just look at this. That's so crazy. He almost dies just from Tinker's one burst. But then from there, you know, Hani's able to keep the team together and basically be their glue for this game, because it was not looking good. It probably, yeah, see, now they're just even in gold. Their experience is way ahead now, but they just now got an even gold exchange as they're taking down the enemy's racks. And that's because Hani was able to shut down Nature's Prophet from pushing down their base. Nature's Prophet was still able to get the gold, but he wasn't able to push down the base at all. And that's huge, because without that, this top racks would have been in serious trouble, if not dead, as well as, you know, these two tier 2 towers probably would have been dead as well. And yeah, and also on top of that, Hani's able to get more farm where other heroes cannot farm. So by creating more farm on the map than what you should normally be able to get with other heroes, he's able to just farm up. And as you can see, they keep on doing the Chen send back trick, and Tinker's gonna come back in and just keep farming. Let's see, let's go ahead and just go right through. Actually, I'm going to just skip ahead a few minutes as well. Yeah, Hani's getting more kills, but he's just in a really good spot right now. So, one thing I want to note is that this gem has actually been down here since Doom died, like 10 minutes prior. So Hani actually goes and he finds it. Or he will find it in a couple minutes, but for now he's able to just hold off this tower siege. Just, this is one thing that Tinker's really good at. He's really good at stalling. Way2 actually has to go 4 staff out of there in order to stay alive, so that he doesn't get hit. But the tower doesn't go down. Yeah. Let's go ahead and just cycle through. Yep, he drops his bottle down here in order to pick up that gem that's been down there forever. And then he's just going to go get a Hex. Get a Scythe of Ice on top of that. But there's really There's only really one more point I want to make about this, besides the fact that Hani can just kill everybody he wants. And there goes another gem. Maybe it's the same gem, but either way, Hani is just able to take control of this game and get his allies the farm that they need. If we actually look at their net worth, now Weaver is up here when he was like down here farther. Venomancer has been able to get a lot of farm too. Even though Venomancer, he does convert it fairly well. He also has a Dagon 5 just to, add insult to injury. But basically, now it's gotten to the point that even if Hani's not a part of the fights, they're still able to turn out even or come ahead, which is what Hani was shooting for. Like, even though he's able to get a ton of farm himself, he's able to not be in the fights anymore, and as for the rest of the team can take it on, which means that he was able to successfully create farm for the rest of his team. Just one more thing I want to get out in a second. Yeah, I'm just trying to get to the point. So right here, Tinker is dead, and he can't buy back. I mean, he can buy back, but he doesn't need to because his team is now farmed enough to be able to kill like that. So like, even though Tinker is dead, they're still able to take these advantages. Yeah, and I guess that's about all there is to it. I'm gonna super speed this up because everybody likes to see the end of a game. Ooh yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the end of this game. Hani screwing around, just blasting. He's gonna die, buy back, TP back in. Shoot. Alright, there you go. But yeah, just basically screwing around. Game is over. Dota Demon Fanatic, good luck. Wish you the best at your attempts at feeding this map. So yeah, No Tail still died 9 times. He's making fun of it. But at the end of the game, if you look, Hani and Weaver, and Era on Weaver, were able to get a crazy good amount of farm. And if you look, Era was actually able to get more farm than Hani by the end of the game, just because of the way that they were able to distribute it. Granted, he got a Dagon as well, so it was, Team Dagon, pretty good. Even though it was a really close game, it looked like a stomp from Hani's point of view. And that's what I want to point out, is that even though his team wasn't doing that well as a team, he was able to get a lot of work done. So, as a player, Hani was able to stop the forward momentum of the other team. And by stopping the forward momentum, that was able to buy Era time in order to go and get his, he was able to get his items up because he was an off-lane Weaver. Trixie was the solo safe lane Venomancer that game. So Era was not guaranteed the best of farm, but Hani was able to keep the farm isolated so that he didn't really go where Era was pretty much the entire game, aside from team fights, which let them both farm at the same time, and they were able to make more farm. So another thing to take note, I mean, it's pretty straightforward that when you're a farming hero, you should never be in the same lane as another core unless you're taking down the enemy team, because fighting for farm is always bad. I mean, everybody knows that, but it's nice to actually think about it and say, hey, I shouldn't be in the same lane as somebody who, as somebody else who needs farm, and then just try to get more last hits than them. You should actually just go somewhere else. So that was the game we just watched. Just kidding. And then this recent games filter. Okay, cool. Game number 2. Alright, so this game is going to be a little different than the other one. You can actually see the game ID as usual up in the corner. But this game is a little different because we're going to talk about SingSing and his role mid as TA, and what separates a good mid player from a great mid player. Now, everybody has good and bad games. That happens. I just want to point out that this game, I'm going to tell you beforehand that SingSing does not have the best start. It happens to everybody, and it's not. It can be his fault. It can be not his fault. It could be his team's fault. It's, there's a lot to it. But I want to point out that what separates a good player from a great player is to not let that get to your head and to be able to still be that dominating role that you need to be. But maybe it comes online just a little bit later. Some people, when they start to lose, they just go into a downward spiral of losing over and over again. Just keep dying until the game's over and you're completely in the hole and completely worthless. Now, what SingSing's able to do, and what makes him one of the best at what he does, is that he's able to recoup his losses and come back fighting just as strong as ever at a specific point in the game. So I just want to showcase that, but also show the power of Templar Assassin as a kind of, a high impact hero. So Templar Assassin is going to play this game, played by SingSing, against Resolution's Invoker mid. And in case you guys didn't notice or didn't know this, TA is very favorable against most heroes in mid. The few that she can't go up well against are Venomancer and Viper, pretty much, and Slark, because they break her refraction charges early. But she can still get crazy amounts of farm against both of them, because there's a really cool technique that you use when you're playing against Templar Assassin that you don't use with anybody else. And that's what you want to do, is, we'll see once she hits level 2, is you use your Psy Blades to farm like in a line. So like I said, we'll wait until she hits level 2. Right now they're just, Resolution is really pulling this creep wave back as far as possible. Now it's on the high ground, so SingSing is not going to be able to get these last hits pretty easily, or easily at all. But we can see that once SingSing hits level 2, he's going to angle every one of his attacks to try and hit Resolution or hit another creep at the same time. If you play TA a lot, you should really try and do this. See, he'll try and go and hit, and even though he didn't get that hit, we'll go back and check that out. So Resolution's at 550 hit points, roughly 560, 570. So even though 580, even though that he didn't get that last hit, he was still able to do 80 damage of harass to the Invoker, and that's huge. Like, to be able to harass from that far away. So the Psy Blade's range increases 60, 120, 180, 240 from the basis range as you level it up, but the splash range is 600. So the splash range itself is 600, which is about as far as you can attack, and it's in a kind of like a thin cone shape. So you can actually, if you, from the point of impact, so if SingSing were able to hit this creep right here, say he was standing right here, the Psy Blades themselves would go from here, 600 range down, and then if Invoker's standing like right here, he will still get hit by that creep right there, even though SingSing is right here. So he gets a total of like 900 range to play with, and he can hit anything in the line. And this was what makes Templar Assassin such a powerful mid, is because you can do that with a last hits, denies, and hero harassment at the same time. So you pretty much can go for like every single last hit, and just, even though he didn't even get that last hit, but every single time he's just hitting Resolution. He's always trying to angle himself so that the Invoker will get hit with everyone. He didn't hit the Invoker, but he did hit that creep. It also makes Templar Assassin really good at pushing lanes. One thing that I forgot to mention, actually, here, check this out. So he's going to try and get a last hit and a deny at the same time. He got the last hit, but did not get the deny. One thing I want to note is that SingSing's item build is a little unorthodox for Templar Assassin, but he says he really likes it, so we're going to go with it. Normally, you want to get that Bottle Rush really fast because Refraction costs 100 mana, and it gives you up to 80 bonus damage, 20, 40, 60, 80. So that's really where your last hitting potential comes in. But the Wraithband itself just gives you 9 total damage And, you know, every little bit helps. It delays your bottle by a bit. He would have his bottle by now if it wasn't for that Wraith Band. But as you can see, look, Resolution's health is just really bad. And even with that with the Forge Spear, he's just basically feeding it to SingSing. So there's not much he can do about that. Like, this is just... Templar Assassin is a very, very good laner. Now, if we look, SingSing was able to afford his bottle at 2 minutes in, so it's not too bad, but it did delay it by like a minute compared to what he would normally be able to get. Yeah, as you can see, he's been running without refraction for the last little bit. Able to get a deny on one of them, not both. But Resolution is just taking so many hits. He's used all his regen, and he's going to have to start scaling more points into Quas just to stay in this lane. See, he goes 2 Quas and 1 Exort just because of the harassment that Templar Assassin's able to do. And even then, the harassment just continues. Tries to get the 2 last hits at the same time, just gets 1. But the creep wave's in a pretty good spot for SingSing. I mean, it's not ideal, but it also works out well. And another thing is, since there is a ward up here, and Invoker doesn't go for runes, like, ever. The only time he might is if he goes with the Forge Spirit and then kills the rune with the Forge Spirit. But usually he does not, so SingSing's able to get this rune. And so I've talked about this before, how as a mid-hero, you normally don't want to cause much action or do any ganks before level 6, but there are exceptions. The main exception is a Fortunate Rune. So in this case, we can go back into the game and we can see that SingSing has a very Fortunate Rune. He just picked up a Haste Rune as a level 4 TA, and generally this is the only time before level 6 that you want to gank, especially as a TA. If you get an Invis or particularly a Haste Rune, sometimes double damage as well, you want to gank. Just the Haste will give you crazy, crazy damage. Now, I'm really going to slow this down a lot because there's a lot of things that go on in a very short period of time, just right here. So, SingSing pops his refraction early so that he can get a second refraction by the time the first one runs out. So it lasts 17 seconds, has a 17-second cooldown. He will essentially get 2 refractions for this fight. He comes in with the haste. He's going to try to hit Invoker. Actually, he misses the meld, and instead of hitting Invoker, he hits the Forge Spirit, which is the first thing that did not go in SingSing's favor. So already he's, you know, down 200 health from Resolution, what he should be at. But it's okay, he still has a refraction charge. That actually gets burnt on, but that's not too big of a deal either. He's able to hit him once. If we look, he tries to get the splash damage on him, but doesn't get the splash either. If you have refraction up, you're able to not get stunned by the cold snap either, since if you don't take damage from cold snap, you don't get stunned. That's another thing that is important to note. But he comes in, he uses refraction again. Forge Spirit just came off cooldown for Resolution, so he's able to use it one more time. He does get the meld, so he has the minus armor on Resolution. He's almost dead, just like 1.25 more hits, but Resolution goes down to 3 hit points, which is really good for Resolution because Resolution has 3 Quas, and that literally saved his life. So SingSing's just running right here. He could have eaten through the trees possibly, but he's also getting hit by both. Resolution skills Sunstrike and blasts right there, and blasts SingSing right before he gets the attack, and SingSing dies. So it was about 3 unfortunate events that happened during that. So I want to actually go through and tell you the unfortunate events. Unfortunate event number 1, SingSing missed his meld. Number 2, SingSing attacked that Forge Spear when he didn't want to. Number 3, he missed the splash damage from the Forge Spirit when he was trying to get that extra hit on Resolution. He had to wait 3 extra seconds until he could refract again, so that was not ideal either. Was not able to block most of the cold snap. Number 4, he got blocked by line of sight for that last hit, for the second to last hit, when he was down in the trees. So when he was down excuse me, when he was down here, he actually got blocked by the line of sight. We can go back and check it out again. So like right here, SingSing can get an attack, and it looks like he can get that last attack. Just coming up here, he's like right on top of resolution, not able to get that last attack. And then, actually, we're going to go back and I'm going to talk about all of the things that went wrong for SingSing. So, he misses the meld right there. He misses the attack on the Invoker right there. He goes to attack, hits the Invoker once, tries to line up for that hit, misses that hit, and then he has to wait for the refraction, goes in when he gets refraction ready, meld hits, that's a success, one more success, and then he does get juked just a little bit, but has a haste rune, and is not able to see him throughout this entire time. Resolution has an awesome Sunstrike, and then does not even get the hit for the return kill. So, very well played by Resolution. Pretty much flawless play by Resolution, I would say. But, just 4 things went wrong for SingSing right there, and he was not able to get the kill, which is most unfortunate, but things do happen. Dota is Dota. So SingSing comes right back, and he's just going to have to catch up and farm right now. He has 20 last hits at 4 minutes into the game. If we look, Resolution has 14 for 9, so not as many last hits because of TA's dominance in the lane. But at the same time, he has a kill. And that kill in and of itself is able to give Invoker more farm than TA. We'll see in a few minutes because they actually go for very similar item builds in the game, and we'll just see how much it's delayed just because of that one kill early on. So SingSing's still focusing on denying even underneath the tower because every deny is just less experience for the Invoker. 2/3 experience instead of full experience. And no gold, obviously. Just when you can do that, it's great. It's great, to say the least. But TA, one advantage of TA as a mid-hero is able to have these miniature wards. These traps have slight vision around them, as you can see. They just have a box of vision. So the box of vision is able to just give SingSing sight. He drops one up here, and that's able to give him vision right up here. So he's able to see if Invoker is just right nearby. He's actually going to use these boards or these traps just for more vision than just that. He can lay it on both runes to check both runes, but he's going to lay one right up here eventually. He lays one right here just to see even more from the top because he doesn't want to get ganked again, and he wants to know where the Invoker is to try and line up the splash damage. So he sees Resolution running up there. No biggie, you know. He does get the illusion rune. Can't really do anything with it. So SingSing clears out the illusion rune, but he does have a trap up here, which is good because that will track when Invoker goes this way, but also if a support were to rotate up this way, or anybody. Like, this is just nice vision of that area. Like I said, it's like a miniature ward, which you get like 5 of. 5, 8, 11, depending on the level. So SingSing does have his double damage pop, but he's not going to tower dive this time. He could maybe get a kill, but he doesn't have refraction really ready, and he has boots of speed as well as Resolution having boots of speed, so it's going to be hard to catch. Invoker is actually pretty close to his Hand of Midas. He's a few hundred gold away. SingSing has 1,000 gold right now. And he is actually going for the same item as Resolution. He is going for the Midas. He does have a bottle, SingSing does, but he also has more last hits. So just that one hero kill is able to speed up Resolution's Midas, and it slows down SingSing's, obviously. SingSing, what he does is he pushes the lane out, and then he goes farms in the jungle when the lane's pushed out. Just because... And there are multiple reasons behind that. So first off, if we look, SingSing is safe farming the jungle right now. He's got Aoi 2000 right here. He's got Eternal Envy up here. And he's just safe farming the jungle right now. These two supports, they don't know where the supports are for sure. I mean, like, they have an idea that they're around here, but it's hard to tell for sure where these supports are at. So, and if these two supports were to get close to SingSing, SingSing would die. So he's just playing it safe and pretty much, for the most part, just hiding. Like I said, he could be getting experience right here at farm, but it's very dangerous for him. He's already died once, so he'll just get last hits in the jungle. See, he still has 40 last hits and 11 denies, so he's not doing terrible, but he is giving up lane experience, which is better than jungle experience in gold. So it's not ideal. He does come back when the lane starts to get more in his favor, and he knows where the supports are at. So he's back in the lane now. And he's just going to Bottle Crow again. Just get that mana up so that you can get all of the last hits.
No breaking through the dire structures for now. The dire I want.
And then SingSing is able to just farm up this lane. Nothing too big. But Invoker does have his Hand of Midas. So he has his Hand of Midas. He's already used it once. SingSing has his Gloves of Haste and is 500 gold away from a Hand of Midas. So there's a pretty stark difference there. And SingSing's just going to have to go farm up however he can for his Midas. One thing that a lot of mids don't do is this jungle farming when their lane is not safe or when their lane is pushed out. And it's really a way to just maximize efficiency or maximize safety while still getting farm. He comes back in the lane immediately when it's ready, and is able to just crush these Forge Spirits. So Resolution is level 9 right now. 4 points Exhort, 4 points Quas, and then 1 point Invoke. So he, with 4 points in each, he does get a second Forge Spirit. And that's really good for lane dominance, and it also burns off the refraction charges pretty quickly. If we look, he's already gone from his defensive refraction charges. And it's kind of dangerous for SingSing now, because Resolution is able to catch up in experience even after getting denied a lot early on. So Templar Assassin is able to get the Midas at 10 minutes as opposed to the 8-minute Midas of the Invoker. Like I said, there is a bottle, but the last hits, given the last hit advantage by SingSing, he should have gotten the Midas about the same time at first, and that one death set him back basically a 2-minute differential. So like I said, whenever you die, consider it as losing 2 or 3 minutes of time, which is why you don't want to die ever. You will get your items 2 or 3 minutes later. Let's go ahead and just speed this up now. They're just continuing this laning phase. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Let's go back and check this out. So there is a gank coming up from Vanscore and Always Want to Fly on Empire. And this is why TA was fighting in the jungle. When SingSing was in the jungle, because he wanted to avoid this. So the pure damage from Sunstrike was able to do about half of his damage, and he was stunned and unable to turn on Refraction or anything else. The Cold Snap was just enough stun to stop that. And there you go. That's how easy it is to die if you're caught off guard as TA. So TA is really powerful when Refraction is up. I mean, technically invincible. But when Refraction is down, TA has nothing. Yeah, they're going to hopefully be able to turn this around. Yeah, they turned it around. SingSing's traps, even though he's dead, he's dropping the traps, and they were able to get a kill on the Shadow Demon. So Always Want to Fly died because of the trap up there. Yeah, so SingSing's 0-2 right now with 0 assists. Not the best situation for a Templar Assassin, especially when you're relying on like that kind of powerhouse to take you through the game. And what SingSing does in order to counteract that is to get the Midas. Normally you don't get a Midas on a Templar Assassin unless you're... Yeah, normally you don't get a Midas on Templar Assassin, but SingSing knows he's behind and he needs to be ready for a mid to late game oriented game. And by getting the Midas, he pretty much ensures his footing later on in order to just make sure that he outplays his opponents now, which is not usually a good bet, but SingSing's a good enough player that he can get away with that. Don't ever think that I'm just going to outplay my opponents when you're playing your games, because that's not a good idea. Just be like, I'm going to outplay my opponents. So right here, SingSing gets disrupted and stunned. Actually, I don't know how they can see him, because before I went into this and I was like, oh, you know, they dropped this ward so that they can see SingSing. Well, he's technically outside of the range here. He must still be inside of this range. He must still be able to be seen, because they're still attacking him. So yeah, he is still seen by it, which is very unfortunate for SingSing, but he dies. Yeah, that ward somehow was able to see him. And then, yeah, SingSing has died 3 times now. And his Midas is off cooldown while he's dead, which is a huge thing, because now it's delaying his next Midas by 30 seconds. So, 0-3, still has 82 last hits, so can still get something done, but basically just needs to sit back and calm down and go for it. Like, go for just farming up and winning. So what he's going to do is he's going to farm for quite some time. Actually, I'm going to skip through this. There's nothing terribly exciting going on during the next few minutes, so we're going to go ahead and skip through this. He does... No, back up just a little bit more. So one more thing I want to talk about right here is that SingSing almost has his Blink Dagger 3 minutes later into the game. He goes in, he's just trying to farm up here and gets hit by an unfortunate arrow. Unfortunate arrows for SingSing, and it kills him. Instead of having 2,000, you know, instead of being 40 gold away from a Blink Dagger, which is what he was, he's now like 400 gold away from a Blink Dagger. So that cost him 300 gold, or 350 gold, and set him back for quite a bit of time. So he would have had the Blink Dagger at 19 minutes had he not died there. And we'll just go ahead and speed this up. So he died. He's 0-4. Radiant was actually able to get Roshan out of that as well. So Resolution has the Aegis, which, by the way, some of you might wonder why you give an Aegis to a mid-hero earlier on in the game and a carry later on in the game. And that's just for the purpose of initiation. So Invoker, TA, you know, somebody who can still get something done after they come up from an Aegis generally gets it earlier on. You want to give it to your TA, so that, or your Invoker, so they can go in, cast some spells, blow everything up, run out of mana, maybe die, and then if they die, they come back and then they blow everything up again. So that's why you give it to them in the mid game, and in the late game, if your carry dies, you generally lose the game. So it's just a shift of importance. The mid game is dominated by the mid hero. Surprisingly. Not surprisingly, actually. So you go and you win the mid game with your mid hero who has an Aegis, and it's his time to shine, and the carry generally doesn't even want to farm during this, or he wants to just farm during this time. So you don't give the Aegis to the carry if they're just going to go off and farm by themselves. That doesn't make sense. You give it to the mid hero who's going to be in the team fights, and just, if you can win team fights 4v5 with an Aegis. So you do that, and then your carry is farming just, you know, freely, because there's nobody there to pressure him at all. So that's why you give the Aegis to like an Invoker or a TA in the mid game, and then later on you give it to the carry. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but sometimes overlooked, the fact that you can just, you don't always have to give the Aegis to whoever is, you know, the carry in the game. You can give it to whoever's the most important at that point in the game. So at this point, it's Resolution. SingSing, like I was saying before, he was going to be able to get his dagger at 19 minutes. It took him a respawn and 90 seconds It took him 90 seconds and using a Midas, which gives him 190 gold, in order to get that Blink Dagger. So it did literally set him back 2 to 2.5 minutes. Just that one death. And it gets worse as you get farther into the game with buybacks and everything. Pylon die disconnected, so they're going to wait for him. But SingSing is already behind a couple more minutes from that. He's 0-4 right now, not looking good at all. Like, this is not looking good for SingSing. I'm not going to lie. These kind of numbers are like very bad for, you know, any hero, especially a mid powerhouse like TA. And it's not really like it's SingSing's fault. I mean, yeah, technically you can blame it on him, but it's not like it's SingSing that, you know, purposely went through all those. It was just some unfortunate things. The unfortunate under the tower with resolution early on, unfortunate arrows, and just unfortunate sentry wards. Just things happen. So the best thing you can do is to just get over it and just farm up some more. Like when you're behind, farm up more. Try to stay as safe as possible. He blinks back up here to get this farm, because if he gets caught out by Marana and Shadow Demon right now, he is dead. Deadio Spaghettio. So he's just going to continue farming and try to catch up. That's his goal. He has a Blink Dagger, which means he can now do things. Single smokes. This is interesting. This is really interesting right here, is that he single smokes. And the reason why he does this is he's going with Bone 7, and they want to make something happen. This tower is at 200 hit points. They're making something happen. He pops his refraction early like before, so he can get a second refraction if needed. One thing you should always do as TA is pop that refraction early. See, he's able to just take that tower by himself, which is 500 gold for him, 200 gold for the rest of his team, and map control. So they have some semblance of map control now. While they're losing, they're tier 3, but that's okay. They were able to get one small gain out of that. So here it looks like their Rax is in heavy pressure. In fact, it's in really bad pressure. And it's going to take a beating. Cloud9 as a team does the best they can to hold on. Unfortunately, Spectre isn't able to do too much yet. Did go for a more mid-game oriented build, treads, drums, poor man's, but still not able to. SingSing's able to, with that Blink Dagger, get a kill and an assist, and another kill here too. So, just with this Blink Dagger, he's able to make enough space to be able to get some farm back up and just get going again. As you can see, he already has 3,000 gold from, he got his Blink Dagger at 22 minutes, roughly, and he was able to make 3,000 gold in 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. So, 2 kills, 1 assist, a tower, and like 40 last hits will do that to you. 30 last hits. So, he's able to have a lot of power. He will probably go for... So, there are a couple of builds that you can go. You could go for the BKB, but SingSing's going to take a risk here. I'm going to be honest. He's going to take a risk. He's going to go for the Desolator. And that's because he knows he's still behind, and they lost a Rax at 25 minutes into the game. So, in order to catch up, you have to take some risks. And he's going to take the risk of getting a Desolator instead of a BKB. The BKB will give him like 20 damage, I think. I forget exactly how much, but it's not much damage. Yeah, 24 damage, so it's not that much damage. Compared to a Desolator, which is -7 armor and, crazy damage. So, he's going to get that, and it scales... Negative armor actually scales exponentially well. So if you have a hero that has negative armor, it's usually good to get more negative armor. The meld itself reduces armor by 8, and you reduce it by another 7 from a Desolator. So there's -15 armor off the bat. And you can actually go to negative armor and do exponential more damage than you would normally would. So both teams smoke up into Roche right now. And SingSing is starting to get some damage going, so he's able to just look at this damage. He's even lining up these attacks while they're in the middle of a team fight to try and get the Shadow Demon at the same time. He does get slowed down by Shadow Demon's ultimate, so he's not able to really go anywhere, but he's just going to clean up. Cloud9 as a whole is just dominating. I will show the graphs. I will show the graphs. So they're in a bad spot. 15,000 gold, 3,000 experience. But you wouldn't guess that based on what's going on right now. I mean, like, yes, you would, but no, you also wouldn't guess that Empire has a 15,000 gold lead. Because there's just much more to it than just the straight up gold. It's what you're doing with your gold. And SingSing right now is being very efficient with his items. With just a Blink Dagger, pretty much that's all he has. A Blink Dagger and level 14. He's able to get crazy damage, and Eternal Envy is also as well. I can actually pronounce his name this time. C9 Mana. This right here, super unfortunate, and I mean, like, this is just not ideal at all. I want to show you what happens and how this must have made SingSing cry. So SingSing dodges this arrow, and then he blinks to get out of the way of Mirana, right into that arrow again. So, yeah. No. SingSing is not a happy panda right now. Not a happy red panda. Not one bit. And he's going to go down because he blinked into that arrow. But, you know, things happen. Like I said, things happen. You just try and move forward from it. He's done better. Instead of 0-4 and 0, he's 2-5 and 4. So, but because of that type of mistake, they're able to take 1 Rax and probably take this tier 3 down as well, or at least put a ton of damage on it. Yeah, not quite take it down. Eternal Envy's here. SingSing will be back soon. So SingSing does get that Desolator, which is powerful right now because it takes like 2 or 3 hits to kill Shadow Demon or Dazzle. Like, there's not much he can do. Like, not much that they can do against that kind of damage. The minus 15 armor on top of the splash, on top of the 80 damage from refraction. See, like 95 plus 140. Who can deal with 235 damage? Not very many people. So 235 damage minus 15 armor, just incredible, incredible damage. But they were unable to find anybody. Just trying to look for pickoffs right now and stay alive. Empire has a huge advantage, and their goal is to take a Rax again. And if they can get 2 Raxes down, then it'll be really bad for Cloud9. But Cloud9 is actually making a comeback, and with the heroes that they have, they're able to go ahead and potentially win this game, like, pretty handily if they were to take an advantage. So, cheeky play, SingSing teleports in, takes the Aegis. Does not get the last hit on Roche, but he does get the Aegis, so and immediately uses it. He's able to blink away before any damage was taken from the poison touch. But Spectre was not as lucky. Vanscore, that guy is a beast of a support, able to use Shallow Grave and TP out without any problem whatsoever, because Pylai did not have the mana or the cooldown to lift, and Aoi 2000's Cold Snap takes too long and also was on cooldown, so it was really good thinking by Vanscore to do that. But another thing that's nice about SingSing and the Templar Assassin is that Templar Assassin is able to clear out these creep waves even when they are, like, even when he has mega creeps, because he's able to push into a line. I'm gonna have to speed this up a little bit more because, well, it's already been an hour and a half and I still have more to go into, just a little bit more. So I want to speed it up just a little bit. They're going to try and siege this tower, and they're able to hold them back.
Dire went and fortified their structures.
But we'll see that Cloud9 actually starts to make a decent comeback right here. So
Dire's mid tower won't last much longer.
So no real committing on either team. Nobody really dies. SingSing needs to get more mana, but once he gets more mana, he'll be ready to go.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now. Radiant's bottom tower seen better days.
So on the plus side, Resolution had to be pushed back. And on the side of Cloud9, they see that Resolution is not there. So if they find an engagement, they're going to take this engagement. Because Resolution's all the way at the bottom. He might not even be able to... Oh, he does have Boots of Travel, so he is able to come back up. But they know that Empire is down a man. This is why they jump outside of their base. And why Bone 7 is way up here. Is that they're just looking for a pick. They're getting rid of the warding vision so that they don't have that advantage. And then they're just going to try and... They really want to engage, but they know that since Resolution's back now, they can't really engage right away. I mean, like, they have to clear out this camp so that their base doesn't die. But at the same time, they know that Empire wants to engage. They want to be able to pressure their advantage and not lose in the late game. So SingSing dodges that arrow, thankfully for him. And going to see a team fight start to break out. Silent does disjoint, so he does disjoint the meld attack from SingSing, which probably would have killed him, to be honest. So if we look, SingSing's at... Silent's at full health. Sorry, I used to SingSing being Mirana all the time. But SingSing pops one attack. This is just one attack. Goes down to half health. And then a meld attack is coming with like 500 hit points left. And Silent barely gets out of that. So yeah, that would have killed him if he did not disjoint that attack. By being able to leap at just the right time, he was able to dodge that attack. So Cloud9 does lose their barracks just because in the base, the amount of creeps and everything are just going to crush them. SingSing's going for it. He's going to just go and get kills. Shadow Demon's down. Like, SingSing's going to try and probably pop off Resolution next because he's right there. Well, Resolution may have gone away. Oh, no, he's actually going to attack Mag and almost get him. Yeah, like, he's just becoming quite like an crazy powerhouse right now, doing so much damage. So you would have never guessed looking at this right now that the way SingSing's just chasing down the enemy team, getting all of the kills. So Silent was able to disjoint the last attack once again, right there, but still died. So yeah, just looking at that team fight right there, you would not have guessed that SingSing had such a bad start that he had at the beginning of the game. And that's because he got the Hand of Midas and was able to farm up a Desolator, and now he has a BKB. So with the Black King bar, he'll be, able to jump into the team fights, not worry about what Invoker or Shadow Demon or Dazzle has to throw at him. Well, Dazzle is physical damage, but you can't target Poison Touch on him, so he won't be disabled mobility-wise in these team fights.
Radiant's top tower's hurt.
And then like I said, they had a huge team victory. 9 heroes died. SingSing was the only one left alive, but their base just keeps dying every time. So they're going to have to fight outside of their base if they want to keep this going. Yeah, up here we go. So we have another team fight coming up. And even though they can do well in these team fights, their base just melts immediately with all the Invoker and Necronomicon units and everything like that. It's just like there's not much they can do. Let's jump to where SingSing's at. So SingSing pops Resolution immediately. And then Shadow Demon dies. And pretty much SingSing can go after whoever he can catch. That's how it goes. SingSing can take down Mag without a problem. Mag tried to get out of there, but he could not. Yeah, he tried to cast his time-lapse and was not able to. So he mid-cast time-lapse and was able to pick it off. And SingSing just picked up a butterfly. Like, he just got the BKB and used it once, and now he has a butterfly. So, like, he's getting crazy amounts of farm right now. But they are down 2 Raxes, which is really bad news. It's really bad to be down 2 Raxes in any game you're in. But they're able to win these team fights now, which is a huge advantage. And if they can win the team fights and convert it into, more than the 1 tower kill that they have, then they can win the game. But they're able to just take down Roche in like 10 seconds because that's what Templar Assassin does with the Desolator. Takes down Roche insanely fast. Templar Assassin does have the cheese. SingSing has it, but what he's going to do is he's just going to give it to Spectre because cheese doesn't mean too much on Templar Assassin, to be honest. If you get caught out as Templar Assassin, you're probably dead. Spectre returns the damage, and the more damage Spectre takes, the more damage that is returned. So that works out well. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and skip ahead about a minute or so. SingSing's just doing some damage. Not really anything exciting going right here, but we're gonna go put it back to normal speed for this. So one more thing is that we're gonna have a team fight coming up here, and it's not going to be inside of their base because Cloud9 cannot have anything inside of their base anymore. Let's see, where's SingSing at? SingSing's down here at the bottom. So the Necro Book destroys the base, like without even doing anything. He's like losing it. SingSing. One really cool thing about Refraction is that being able to kill those Necrobook creeps and not take the 500 damage from the creeps themselves. Really nice. Like I said, this is really tough for Cloud9 because even if they win these team fights now, they're still losing their base. And the whole goal of Dota is to, kill the base. He's pretty much able to one-shot the Weaver. If we go back and check this out, so he's right here. Weaver does have half health, but just crushes him. Like, there's nothing the Weaver can do against that unless he preemptively time lapses. But even then, SingSing is doing just too much damage. Picks up a Demon Edge to go for a Daedalus. Yeah, so they're able to win these team fights handily, and they were able to take that one Weaver kill and turn it into a tower. But I don't think they'll be able to get much more from this. They are, like I said, they're winning these team fights though. They're able to take down all the tier 1s, but they're just the tier 1s. Sometimes it's just too little too late, but SingSing was still able to come back from this. Like, he's 7 and 5 and 8 from being 0-4 and 0. So he's been a part of 15 kills while only dying once. That's pretty good for the kind of bad start that he had. Yeah, he keeps on getting Alacrity because Pilot Eye has Alacrity from Invoker. Bone 7 is just making everybody fear for their lives. I mean, he has a Dagon and just is Nyx Assassin, so he's able to run in and pick off people over and over and over again. But basically right now, all Cloud9 can do is keep their base from falling apart. When you're down 2 Raxes like this, you have to dedicate most of what you're doing to just keeping your base alive. So SingSing is just trying to keep the base alive. The splash damage does help a lot, but I don't know if it's enough. And Empire knows that if they just go and they just push into the base, they'll be able to get a lot accomplished. SingSing's trying to pick them off from over here. Almost one-shots Shadow Demon. Just like, you thought it was crazy when Tinker was one-shotting people. Just look at this. 1290 to 36 immediately. Just like, ouch. So, there goes Shadow Demon. Yeah, that was actually a crit on a Desolator, so a Desolator crit can pretty much kill. But even if they get these hero kills, it doesn't matter because they're losing their base. Mag can just go in and, like, he'll die, but, you know, they're just losing most of their base, if not all of their base. So, yeah. So it's not looking good. Once again, just speed it up. So Roche does go down again. I mean, just trying to get it up to the last team fight. There's not too much more to talk about here, besides the fact that they have to fight outside of the base like that. They're able to pick off the Shadow Demon once again, which Shadow Demon doesn't really mean much anymore at this point in the game. And yeah, so they're just trying to pick off the heroes and push whatever lane they can, and then go. And here's where their last fight is really going to be. Like, this is the last fight for Cloud9. They're going to try and push down this Rax, and then from there, hopefully, just get the advantage. So, Weaver is able to die pretty much instantly, teleports back into the fight with his ultimate. So one thing about Weaver's ultimate is that it takes you back 4 seconds in time, and can also work through death. So if you're dead, and then right after you respawn, you'll come back to 4 seconds right before you died. And Mag knew he died so quickly there that he just teleported back to where he was, and he has most of his hit points. And that's how he's able to get back into the fight. See, SingSing got Boots of Travel, and he's back in this fight again. But buybacks from everybody. It's just keeping this alive. Like, if Cloud9 were to, if they can take down everybody right here, if they can take down Mag again right here, they'll be able to win this fight, win this game probably. But everybody has buybacks from Empire, which is really, really good for them to all have buybacks, all 5 of them. And they're not able to get anything done, and they spent buybacks on Cloud9, and their base is falling apart. So yeah, even if they're out ahead, it's just like they can just pick off these Raxes. Really late game, it just comes down to how quickly you can kill buildings, which is generally pretty quick when you get really late into the game. So they're able to just get mega creeps, and there's not really much that Cloud9 can do from here. They can try, but they're just going to lose their base. So yeah, SingSing did end up dying there. See, he just got picked off. But there's really not much else that you could do. Unfortunate for Cloud9, they did lose this game, but I do want to go into the endgame stats to show you just how far SingSing came. So at the end of the game, oh, dang it, it disappeared on me. So, oops, I guess I can go to the end of the game stats. I'll talk about it a little bit. So at the end of the game, SingSing was able to pull off more gold and experience than anyone else. Like, I'm pretty sure more so than anyone else. Yeah, here we can go back into it. So I have it right here. So yeah, SingSing had 625 gold per minute, which is more than anybody on either team, and is level 25. So he had more gold and experience than anyone else on either team by the end of the game, even though he had a 0 and 4 start. And that was because he played calm and collected and knew how to get back into the game. He went for the value items on top of just being able to farm up. So when he's behind, he goes for the value items. Generally, value items are items that can make a big impact and don't really cost that much. So you're looking at, like, the Drums of Endurance is a nice value item. The Midas is a value item because it pays for itself and then some later on in both gold and experience. A key note about the Midas is that some heroes get it for experience more than gold. Invoker, for example, gets it for experience way more than gold because he's the only hero that skills his 3 skills up until level 25. His spells keep on getting more powerful every level until he hits level 25. So he needs that experience. He needs to jump ahead of everybody else. Get that early level 9 to have 2 Forge Spirits, and then just go from there. And TA is similar in the fact that just like heroes with good stat gains and good level advantages take leads. Level advantages give you your spells sooner and give you, it's awesome. So like value items like the Midas, the Drums of Endurance in general, treads or some form of boots. So SingSing got treads, he got Midas, and then he got Blink Dagger. Depending on what hero you are, a Blink Dagger can be a very good value item. So the Blink Dagger, what it did in this situation is it was able to let SingSing was able to jump into fights, chase people, and kill people, which he wasn't able to do before he got the Blink Dagger. He did not get a single kill until after he got his Blink Dagger. By getting that Blink Dagger, nobody on the enemy team could run away from him safely. So if there was an opportunity for SingSing to jump in, he could jump in and get a kill. And with the levels that he had, even though he was under-farmed and he died a lot, he was still leveled enough to have 4 points in Refraction and 4 points in Meld. And that gives him the plus 80 damage and the minus 8 armor with 200 bonus damage on top of that. So, like, just even though he didn't have any kills or any damage items, he was still able to 2 or 3 shot supports, even at that level. And because of the nature of the Templar Assassin as a hero, doesn't need items to do that for under-farmed and low hit point heroes. And SingSing took advantage of that by buying the value Blink Dagger, which ended up paying for itself pretty much immediately. And was able to just get a crazy amount of gold coming in from then, and was able to get 6 slotted, and level 25, and just like almost, they came really close to saving the game. But if they didn't have that second set of barracks down, they would have been able to take that game and take the advantage. Like the tower advantage is what really slowed them down, but they had a big advantage going into the later end of the game, the later stages of the game, and that's because SingSing was able to take a step back and go for that advantage. Yeah, so cool. If you have any questions, feel free. As always, email me, RoopleeTV@gmail.com. This will be up on my YouTube channel, my RoopleeTV email channel, or YouTube channel. Check out my Twitter at, twitter.com/Rooplee. No TV on the end of that one. As well as my Twitch does not have RoopleeTV. It's just Rooplee on the end of it. So, thank you guys for tuning in as normal. I'll be back next Saturday with some more exciting episodes. Depending on what goes on this week in the pro scene, I will talk about different things. Feel free to send any suggestions to me, RoopleeTV@gmail.com. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Cool.